All right, another day of computer science. He said we weren't going to have this long of lectures and we're just going to get into the questions pretty quickly, but today was another 40-minute lecture, so just about. So hopefully we'll start getting that down to 10 minutes a day so we can start getting in the questions. We didn't even get through all the questions. I found out that the questions are graded, so partially on correctness, so that's fun. It gives it more stakes. I went 100% on all questions. On the ones that the average score is low, or most people miss it, or a big portion of the class miss it, we get a second try after a discussion. So, but I didn't have to, I got all the same answers after the discussion. I didn't miss any of them, so we'll see if that keeps like that throughout the semester. I'm not going to say I hope that's what it is, because I'd like some challenge, some things that I miss, some things that I learn from the questioning. But as far as the lecture went, it was really easy and basic. I hope we get more complex soon. The big picture was just basic input, basic output, and errors, like I've been discussing in the previous episodes. So input function, int function, output function, escape sequences, data type, strings, literal, white space, and then syntax error, runtime error, and logic error. We didn't really discuss logic error. I'm sure that would have been probably the last question we didn't get to, but big picture, we're talking errors, input, basic output, that's it. So not much else to discuss here. Variable. We defined a variable. It's basically you're storing. I liked the way he defined it. I know what a variable is, kind of, but I mean, it's kind of hard to describe. You're storing it's a container in which you can store value in memory that can be used in the program later. So, and then another note I made it mentally was like describing the difference between a string and an integer. It seems pretty difficult actually to a beginner, like to describe it to a beginner when you're referring to numbers. But basically, I mean, you can simplify it down to, like, if you have a number, it can either be the character or the number. You can that is to say, you can either do calculations on it or you can't. And so that's really the difference between a number that is like in your program, that it can be either a string or a number, essentially. I think that's basically it. The input function, every time you input something, it's going to be a string. That's the standard for input function, so you can change that to an integer if you want. But that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later today. See ya. Welcome back to computer science. We're pretty far ahead today. We accidentally did more work than what was due tomorrow. We actually did a week's worth advanced as far as the MSP, many small programs, go. So we're a little ahead of schedule, but we're gonna have participation and challenges due by Sunday. So we got plenty of time. I'm just gonna take a small day today. That is 15 minutes here. Today will be it. So I'm gonna go just jump into Canvas, check it out. If not, if there's nothing really there, I'll start and go ahead on the next section of the textbook, most likely. So be back in a bit. All right, I'm happy that I started today, even though it was just a little bit, because lecture 4 is pretty dense. This is all about variables and data types, so stuff we should mostly know already. So basically, a variable remembers a value. A variable really is it's a container that holds value. It's an item that holds a value. That's the way they described it. Assignment statement is a statement that assigns a value to a variable. The equal sign does not mean equals in computer science or programming. It means puts or assigns value of. So yeah, and then an assignment statement, you basically have the variable on the left side and in the expression or value on the right side. So all right, 4.1 is all about variables and assignments. Okay, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. See you.